This is a kid. Okay, it's a boy. It's called Kian. Okay, and he wanted to, when he grew up, he wanted to become a robotic engineer. His passion was robotics, right? So,
Oh wow. There's a helicopter fan at the back.
but the thing is, he
Papa.
can't become a robotic engineer anymore because he was shot dead by the
Oh my
Iranian
God.
government. Okay,
This
and
kid?
yeah, this kid. And the reason, and the mother of this kid did not hand over the body of the kid to the government, because the government, when they take the body, they keep the body as hostage to the family, for the family to say, like, tell the media that it was terrorists, it wasn't us, or else we won't give you the body. So the mother was holding the kid's body in his house, and I can't show you the picture. The family had ice around his body to keep them, to make sure they keep the body and don't give it to the government, because that's what the government does. They take the body and they're like, you have to come in front of the camera and say what we told you, or else we're not going to give the body. So the pictures of this kid's dead body shot with bullets next to ice around him went viral on Twitter, which I can't show right now, but I just want to show you a few other videos. This is him. I can't show you, I can't play the music, but this is him planting a tree. Okay, but let me show you something else. This one went viral. This one I'll show you a video. This one, him made a device and he's like saying, I want to, he made this, his mother is recording this because he's making a test, he made a project for school to see if it works. Hold on. It's for competition. Oh, here, let me, so here. It says, this is for, he says, in the name of the God of rainbows, I made this for a certain competition, and now I'm making this video to test if it's working. So he's like very interested in engineering stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of a backdrop then. So what happened? How does a 7-8-year-old kid get caught up in this fiasco?
Right, I will tell you. So he's saying, as you can see, as I've demonstrated, it's working properly. So it's very cute. So the way that he died was that the parents were in a car with him, and they were trying to go to a different part of the city because to get away from the protests that were happening, because there were going to be shootings. They expected there to be shootings, and they wanted to go. And they got to a place where the police was in front of them, and the police was stopped them and told them that they need to go backwards, back the way they came. And when they were coming, there were some, I think, Basijis, which is like the plainclothes people. For some reason, when that car came towards them, they started shooting at the car, and they started screaming, "Stop shooting! Stop shooting!" Their kids and children, the women and children inside, and they started shooting. And they came because for some reason the car coming back towards them, made them assume that this is a threat for some reason, and they started shooting. And then some of the other Basijis realized that this is like not that what the threat that they thought. So they went, and when they saw the kid like shot, and the father was shot as well, they said like, oh, they said that they said, like, the mom confirmed that they said that they were shot by our own people, by our own. So the mom heard that, right? But the regime is saying that the kid was killed by ISIS. For every time there's a shooting like this, the government keeps claiming that there's for some reason there's ISIS in the middle of protesters, and the kid was shot by ISIS. But the mother is saying this is a lie, and she saw that we were shot by the government agents itself. But then now they arrested the mom, and they got a force testimony from her saying that she doesn't actually know who shot. But this was after she said, like, publicly said, I know it was the regime. But every time they arrest people, they have forced confessions. Here's, like, I just want to show you some videos people have made about, like, the device that he made. This is kind of cute.
We can hear the music as well. I don't know if you want to play that.
What?
We can hear the music as well. I don't know if you want to play that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think this one is.
We'll just lower the volume so we can speak over it. So it does it in that case.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just. People are making pictures like this about him, about his device that he's made. Yeah, and now people are showing up in the protest with the device that he had made, like that. But I just wanted to show you,
So when will these bastards realize that the more they do this shit, the angrier people are gonna get? And that's obviously what's happening. Like, I mean, these idiots don't realize that, Mahsa Amini was one woman, and they killed her, and look what happened. And now in the wake of that, they've killed far many more civilians, and it's just not slowing down. Now a kid dies, a kid is killed because of some trigger-happy Buji, what's his name? Bajidi? What are the
Basiji are the plainclothes people that are government enforcers.
Religious police, the moral police and civilian clothes, which is also it's like a trap because people don't know if they are so-called the moral police. So they're basically this sting operation every day taking place in the streets of Tehran. That if we see a woman, like one of the videos that you played earlier, they just approach you and then just say, "Hey, where's your hijab?" or whatever, and then they start harassing women. When would these idiots understand? We heard somewhere, like last week or a couple of weeks ago, I heard that the Iranian government is actually thinking about revising their hijab policy. How true is that? Because if they keep doing this, if they keep killing innocent civilians and even kids, for that matter, that's just these. I can't wait for this regime to be toppled.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to slow down.
Removing the hijab bans is going to do nothing but encourage more people to come out. Some people think like, oh, if removing the hijab bans means like people will like, okay, we go home. Actually, removing the hijab bans will probably encourage more people to come out because this is not about the hijab, okay?
And is that
the protesters want the regime to fall. The protesters with all these people killed, they're not going to be like, oh, the hijab is not mandatory anymore. Okay, we're going to forget the fact that you killed Kian. This is the people are not going to forgive any of this, right? So if you remove the hijab ban, people are going to think like, okay, so you are weak because like you're desperate. You're throwing things at us because you have nothing to do, and it's going to encourage more protests, not less protests, probably.
I just want to say, I don't think this needs to be said, but just how brave these protesters are. I mean, my initial instinct under a regime like Iran would be to run as far away as I could, But these people who are willing to confront and put their lives on the line, it's on another level. It really is. And
we've said this before. We've said this before.
But I think it's important that we remember how brave the people are, because sometimes we talk about regime change, etc., but these are real lives that are being lost. And
Ibn Qayyum lives in England and he can't even show his face or real name. I'm joking.
Exactly. No, it's true. It might affect my business. Exactly. I don't want to do it. Yeah, no, honestly.
I know. Fair enough. No, fair enough. It's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be. To be fair, I'm not as brave as these people either. There's a lot of videos coming out of Iran that people are saying like the government said like, oh, they were running away because to remove reduce the reputation of some of these like brave leaders, like street leaders and stuff, and they keep coming out with videos like, listen, I'm not going anywhere, okay? I'm gonna do this until I die. Like, I'm gonna do this until either Iran is free or they kill me. And they make statements, but that when like they're not if they're killed, like when they're killed, make sure that you do not get demotivated by my death. This is not about me. Like you have to pick up, there's many of us, like there's not like a lot of street leaders and stuff like that. They're saying like when they shoot me or they kill me, make sure you don't, this is not a time to cry for me. This is a time to fight. You have to pick up, the rest of us pick up the work that the ones have picked up before. And some of the protests are saying the same thing. Like some of the chants in the protests are saying like, for each one of us you kill, 1,000 of us rise up. And actually that's becoming true, because like for like Kian's death, like you saw Mahsa Amini died, and that encouraged so many people to come, and then Nika died and she encouraged a lot of people to come out, and every death is like that. But Kian, a lot of celebrities that people didn't expect at all to ever like come out and be anti-regime, after Kian's death came out and they were crying in front of camera, and the women were taking off their hijab people that were like, oh my god, this person too. But Kian like was for a lot of people, Kian's death was the final nail in the coffin. So every death is encouraging a whole bunch of people that were pro-regime or kind of not part of the protest or anything. They see it, and like a lot of mothers came out because of this. A lot of mothers, because they saw Kian's death and they imagined their own son or their own daughter as Kian, they couldn't take it anymore. And they're like, okay, if this is going to be the end of my career or end of my freedom, I don't care anymore. I'm going to also join the protests. So yeah, a lot of famous people. Yeah.
It's amazing that people always think that these regimes always think that it works for a little bit of time when certain barbarity, they quell rebellion through brute force. But there is a tipping point. Like every murder that they commit, it just, instead of people running away or getting scared, more people come out. For example, I've never seen that in the history of Pakistan when that journalist Ashir Sharif was killed. A lot of people I know a lot of people, a lot of journalists, they were all scared, but some of them became more brazen in their criticism of Pakistan Army and ISI, and I was like, whoa, okay, like we have never seen people discrediting Pakistan Army or ISI or speaking speaking against them or speaking so disparagingly about them. Never seen it, but again, like people just get sick of it. I think there's a threshold when people just get sick of it, and then they say, you know what, you kill one person, and literally 1,000 people come out.
Yeah, these are Kian's friends, by the way. These are his classmates. But go on, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, if I had the financial means, honestly, like I would just run with my family, honestly, like. But these people are much braver than I am. So yeah.
You never know. I think look, fair enough. You can't say. I mean, obviously the bravery is unmatched, and then again, and history is full of it. People like that always have risen up and have toppled governments. People stood up against Ceausescu. People stood up against Mussolini. People stand up all the time. But again, your experience and our experience is different. This is what I'm saying. Like, there's a threshold. Like, if you see a little boy in your neighborhood killed, and you're like, "Whoa!" and you already remember Masa Amini, you already remember people firing at you, or these revolutionary thugs, they're firing at you and they're beating you. Then you say, "You know what? Screw this. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna go for it." But these experiences actually, that's why, I mean, it's amazing how human emotion and humans are. We can be pretty bad, but we can be really good as well.
Yeah, Ibn Kam, actually, I don't know if you would like run away if, let's say, for example, your son would was killed by these guys.
Yeah, then it would be different.
Yeah,
then it would be different. But the thing is, maybe because maybe if you're middle class or whatnot, you're less likely to fight the ruling or put your life on the line. Maybe if you've got less to lose, you're more willing to do it. I don't know if that plays a part.
No, there are a lot of people who are middle class or even rich who are just become like, if you're like constantly if you constantly are bombarded by like so far 50, like around 50 kids have been killed by this regime over these protests. 50, right? So if you constantly see this, and then you see the bravery.
But I'm assuming where Kian one is like obviously taking off, and people are responding to it differently, maybe. And
yes.
The ball is just gotten bigger.
I hope the football team at the World Cup do something, because I know there are a few of the players there that are anti-regime that have been allowed to play. So I'm hoping they provide an act of solidarity.
A lot of people are actually very critical right now of the football players in Iran. They're saying that they should have. They went to the Raisi and they bowed, and they haven't been coming out and saying anything. So a lot of people are telling them that they're like, they're like that, playing football across, like on top of people's dead bodies, and not paying attention about, not bringing in it. We'll see. Like, hopefully, maybe last minute they decide to take a knee or something in a form of protest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, hopefully. Oh, by the way, there's a question. Soha in the live chat is saying, "Where is the effing UN? What the f are they waiting for?" Actually, very interestingly, UNICEF, which works with the Islamic Republic of Iran, has not come out and said a single thing about all the kids that have been murdered. So a lot of people are now critical of UNICEF because it's supposed to be with an actively working with the interests of children, saying UNICEF not for every child, as you can see. Yeah, and actually I think this is the latest numbers. Number of people who've been killed, death toll of protesters known so far. The people who have been identified so far is 402 in the past 3 months. 58 of them children. So there's that. So number of individuals arrested, 16,000, almost 17,000. Number of regime forces killed, 54. This is the highest it has ever been in any of the protests. So the people are fighting back. Number of
you reckon the number is going to rise? I reckon. Killing kids is obviously that's just. And look, out of 58 kids, obviously Kian's story has gripped the country, and probably there's always certain, like for example, Mahsa Amini wasn't the only girl who was a victim of this brutal regime, but then that just took off, and now Kian one is obviously having a different kind of impact. So I don't know now I'm thinking, you like as you said earlier, that could be tomorrow, but it could be like in 5 years' time. But the days of this regime are numbered. I think that's it. It's done. They're done for. Once we start seeing mutiny amongst these revolutionary guards and Bajidis or whatever these people are, then I think that would be it.
I would say it's a question of when, not if. It is now a question of when. This regime, based on the information I have, which is always be like you don't have all the variables, but I don't see this regime surviving. I just don't know what the timeline is.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been propped up in the past with the oil money, etc. But with the sanctions in place, hopefully.
But they were still pretty resilient despite of the international sanctions.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because if they fall, it's going to be from within. It can't be from pressures from outside. It has to be from pressure from within.
And then we can have President Armin Navabi as the next ruler of Iran. Why not?
Sure.
You got to think for the stars, Armin. You never know.
The guy who burned the Quran rule over a country with at least.
Well, it would be a secular country because the people would say, "Well, you're the one
with a big portion of it." Secular doesn't mean non-religious.
No, anti-religious. No. But you were anti-regime,
Yeah, but there are a lot of religious. I've actually have been making shows on our Persian channel, trying to bring atheists and Muslims together, right? Instead of like dividing, trying to bring them together, because this fight is now being done by everybody against the regime, right? And I keep telling my atheist, because a lot of my atheist activists in Iran are like, we're gonna like burn the mosque and kill the mullahs, and this is the end of Islam in Iran. I'm like, listen, dude, most of the people killed in the protests are Muslim. Most of the people who are fighting in the streets against the regime are Muslim. Like, you can't, if this country ever becomes a secular, it's going to be because of the contribution of Muslims who made it secular. So stop like dividing us over religion. Like we could have a discussion about whether Islam is right or wrong, which is fine, but don't use this as a way to cause disunity between us. We need to be united against the regime. Yeah,
I agree. And Armin, if you do get a position of power, I hope you provide me with preferential treatment for exporting second-hand cars into Iran. Fingers crossed. I mean, you know me now. We're good friends, okay? So
corrupt practices. You guys, let me wake you guys up. You got to take over the country first.
Oxymoron. Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so we already have some votes for you, but I don't know.
Wow, amazing.
But sorry, guys, you need to be Iranian citizens or citizens of the new regime first.
Where are you? I'll become a politician where you guys are.
PM Armin Navabi. I've just put a poll. I've got 11 votes so far. I said, will you vote for Armin? And 100% people have said yes, and that's out of 11 votes so far.
Okay, there you go. I'll go and run a party. I don't know if I become the prime minister. I'll just start a party in Iran. How about that? A political party.
Masih Alinejad will see you
I'll become a member of parliament. How about that?
Masih Alinejad will see you as a competition.
To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.